Welcome to Riverwood House. We are a transitional supportive recovery housing project located at 65 Stadacona Street in the Elmwood neighborhood of Winnipeg. My name is Steve Neufeld, and I'm the director and your host for today's presentation. Riverwood House is a 40-suite facility for those in recovery from addictions, facing unstable housing, and desiring a substance-free environment. Bringing together fully independent living suites in a communal environment, a human-centered approach empowers each participant to discover, pursue, and own their goals in recovery with the guidance of on-site navigators and connection to external supports, ensuring their support networks are built with resources that will carry them after transitioning from the program. Riverwood House is a new build that opened in July of 2022. In terms of building design, we have 40 suites with 9 being accessible. Building features include all suites are self-contained, furnished, single occupancy with kitchenette and washrooms. Accessible suites are barrier-free, zero-entry showers, accessible access to taps, refrigerators and ovens, and lowered door handles on wardrobe and cabinets. Juliet balconies are attached to suites on floors 2 through 4, providing an opportunity to get fresh air at any time. Riverwood House features community gathering places, such as the family room that's designed for family reunification and visits. There are lounges on each floor where participants can visit, watch a movie, or play games. Shared laundry and common kitchen facilities. A large common room where participant community meals are enjoyed and workshops are held. There are green spaces with grass, shrubs, and trees, and an outdoor patio on the main floor. Gardening opportunities are made available on our rooftop patio. The building has plenty of natural light. A multi-purpose room for exercise and creative arts such as music also is a feature. We also have a specially designed heat treat room that assists us in the mitigation of bed bugs. By definition, Riverwood House is transitional supportive recovery housing. I've developed an infographic showing where we view ourselves within the continuum of addiction and recovery services. We are post-detox and post-treatment, whether in-house short-term, 30 days or less, or longer-term, more than 30 days. We are a safe and sober living environment, and we're the last stage prior to transitioning to independent community life. Our client profile is relatively basic, but does point out the limitations we have in terms of our capacity to deal with higher needs. Applicants must be admitted voluntarily, have an expressed desire for recovery, be 18 years of age or older, have a minimum of 28 days of sobriety, and this is dealt with on a case-by-case basis, must be facing housing instability, must be medically stable. Any individual with ongoing medical issues, including dual diagnosis, may be accepted if they are addressing these problems with outside professional help, including medication management. Participants must have adequate control over their behavior and assessed not to be imminently dangerous to others or oneself. They must be independent in managing basic personal needs. They must be eligible for EIA. EIA clients, after being accepted into Riverwood House, also qualify for the Canada Manitoba Housing Benefit. These two benefits, when combined, remove financial barriers to access Riverwood House. Early in our evolution, we developed 6 pillars that form the foundation of our approach to recovery. These pillars are being client-centered, meaning that each recovery plan will be unique to the individual, recognizing their unique recovery journey, and there are no timelines for recovery at Riverwood House. Second, we wanted to establish an independent living experience. Each suite is designed to be self-sustaining with everything a participant needs to live independently. Participants are responsible to prepare all of their own meals, except for those provided by Riverwood House, such as the bi-weekly family dinners. We are committed to a trauma-informed approach to recovery. As evidence shows, more than 90% of people with addictions have unresolved trauma. 3 times per week, we deliver trauma content through the En Route program. For additional trauma therapy, we connect with neighborhood community resources, such as Elmwood Community Resource Center, REACT, Recovery of Hope, Clinic, and St. Raphael's Wellness Center. It is important for us that each participant is provided an opportunity to give back via volunteer service within the context of Riverwood or through other neighborhood volunteer opportunities. We believe in the power of community, where participants know that they are loved and cared for and have a community of people that includes staff and other participants to reach out to in their time of need. The foundation of preparing participants for a transition to healthy, independent community life is to build recovery capital into a participant's life. Recovery is a process of change through which individuals improve their health and wellness, live a self-directed life, and strive to reach their full potential, and that recovery is more than simply abstinence from alcohol or other drugs. Building recovery capital in a participant's life is our method to help them achieve these recovery goals. Recovery capital is defined as the breadth and depth of internal and external resources that can be drawn upon to initiate and sustain recovery. Riverwood House uses the My Recovery Plan tool that provides us with a mechanism towards a measurable approach to helping participants achieve improved health and wellness, resilience, and independence, and helping them reach their full potential. Recovery capital is a strengths-based model that takes recovery beyond physical and psychological treatment to include personal, social, cultural, and community domains. It recognizes the positive impact that strengthening these domains can have on sustained recovery for a participant. It is our goal to build recovery capital in each of these domains, thus improving holistic well-being, resilience, and confidence in participants. After a participant settles into Riverwood House, an assessment is conducted using the My Recovery Plan tool that aids us in identifying barriers, unmet service needs, personal, social, cultural, and community capital that a participant needs to build on that may currently be lacking, preventing them from living well in community. The assessment generates a score called the Recovery Capital Index, or RCI. The RCI score provides an initial baseline with which to build on. My Recovery Plan generates suggested goals based on responses to the assessment questions. It is the job of our navigators to connect existing community resources, including those inside Riverwood House, to the suggested and participant goals. This forms the unique personal recovery plan for each participant. Periodic assessments are conducted over time that will hopefully result in seeing an improvement of a participant's Recovery Capital Index score. As the RCI score improves, we anticipate seeing participants change, growing in their confidence across all the domains, thus preparing them for healthy transition to independent community life. Each domain contains specific goals. Personal domain goals include internal resources such as life skill development, development of values, pursuing further education, improving physical and mental well-being and health, hopes and aspirations. External resources can include property and money. Social domain includes resources and supports from relationships within a social network that may require commitment or obligation, such as family, friends, self-help groups, employers, or other social groups. Cultural domain explores identity, beliefs, and spirituality. The community domain includes access to local community resources, such as reasonable housing, training, employment opportunities, and transportation. The previously described domains are considered positive recovery capital domains. There are, however, two domains that are considered negative recovery capital and negatively affect the RCI score. These are barriers and unmet needs. A barrier may be unstable housing, which can significantly impact one's ability to focus on recovery and often results in relapse. An example of an unmet need may be never having received adequate support for a mental illness. Again, this can have a significant impact on one's ability to focus on recovery. The My Recovery Plan tool assists in identifying and assigning both positive and negative recovery capital goals. The process is measure, plan, and engage. Measure initial and periodic assessments using the My Recovery Plan tool. Plan. Suggested goals are generated by My Recovery Plan, and participants are also encouraged to contribute their specific goals, and together with their navigator, participants choose which goals to work on first. This forms the initial personal recovery plan. Navigators meet with participants periodically, review progress, and coaches them in staying on track in achieving their goals. And this is what we mean by engagement. The Riverwood House team currently includes a project lead, a director, 3 navigators, a recovery support specialist who's responsible to deliver the trauma-informed education and help with the development of workshops, Riverwood Church Community Administrative and Finance Support, an Indigenous couple who assist with delivering cultural content, volunteers, and work practicum students. Our partners include agencies in our partner referral network, Eden Residential Care Services, providing housing support workers, Elmwood Community Resource Center, that provide mental health counselors and an Indigenous elder, REACT, which stands for Recovery Education for Addictions and Complex Trauma, Recovery of Hope, that provide licensed therapists, and the St. Patel Alcoholics Anonymous group. Our current demographics show that 67% identify as male, 33% identify as female. In terms of ethnicity, 41% are Indigenous, 41% are Caucasian, and 18% are visible minorities. Age, we have 3 people in the 24 to 34 category, 10 people in the 35 to 44 category, 7 people in the 45 to 54 category, 3 people in the 55 to 64 category, and 1 person in the 65 plus category. This is an image of our intake process flowchart. It shows each step that is taken to process an application. Note that at each decision point, if an application is not approved, there is a path where we attempt to find an alternate placement for the individual. Building good relationships with other agencies makes this step easier. It's helpful to break down in more detail the various components to our intake process. The first thing that's happened is we receive a completed intake referral form from an agency within our partner referral network. That referral form is prioritized according to length of sobriety, housing insecurity, commitment to recovery, mental well-being, justice involvement, drug of choice, and length of use. From there, a telephone interview is arranged where we begin to gather information on the applicant. If all goes well and they meet the eligibility criteria, an in-person interview is arranged with 2 of our navigators. At that point, a risk assessment is done based on the information gathered in the interviews as well as the intake referral form. That information is taken to our intake committee where a further review is conducted. If all goes well and the applicant appears to be ready for Riverwood House, a meeting is arranged where all the expectations are reviewed with the applicant. These include house rules, personal conduct rules, and a discussion is held on the challenge it is to make ends meet living on an EIA budget. If the applicant is willing to participate in Riverwood House programming and housing, then the navigators will identify a move-in date for admission. The final decision on that date is left with the navigator team and is based on gender balance within the house and also is based on the risk assessment. If our home has people who are relatively low risk as an overall population, we'll be able to take higher risk people into the house. An admission date is identified, heat treat, arrangements are made, and the participant moves in. In terms of project statistics, I decided I'd focus on our partner referral network and the referrals that we've received. To date, we've received over 175 referrals, and this does not include telephone calls or people just stopping by asking for information. Currently, Riverwood House is at 60% capacity. We plan to be at 100% capacity sometime in Q2 of 2023. 26 different agencies have made referrals to Riverwood House. They include Substance Use Treatment Residential, 26%, Substance Use Treatment Community, 39%. Justice has provided 12.3% of our referrals. Mental health treatment from community is 10.4%. Mental health treatment through the WRHA is 9.1%. And mental health treatment residential is 3.2%. In terms of success stories, we have 19 participants engaged in ongoing addiction support. 8 participants are volunteering outside of Riverwood House. 8 people are involved in Discovery class, which is Spirituality 101. 7 people have reconnected with family members. 5 people have transitioned back to work. 5 people are also seeking additional mental health support that they didn't receive prior to coming to Riverwood House. 4 people have gone through fairly extensive oral health care. 3 people are engaged in continuing education. 3 people have transitioned from Riverwood House to be with their children through CFS. 2 people are involved in primary care, which is physical health and well-being, and 1 person has transitioned to community. We have experienced learning challenges as we've endeavored to establish transitional supportive recovery housing at Riverwood House. These include understanding the brain and how substance misuse impacts healthy decision-making, how each recovery story is unique and each recovery path is unique, acknowledging the time that it takes for the brain to heal from substance misuse and return to a normal chemistry balance where better decisions can be made. These are critical moments in time for the participant, as this in-between time can lead to relapse. Having an effective advocacy voice with child and family services, justice, and other services in the community. Incorporating effective disciplinary actions. Defining and teaching effective tools of recovery motivation and refusal techniques for triggers. Relapse prevention. Next steps when relapse occurs. Navigating community mental health resources. Prioritizing intake referrals, and this is about discerning who's the best fit for Riverwood House. Defining a recovery path for those not ready for Riverwood House. Helping participants make ends meet on an EIA budget. And conflict resolution techniques amongst participants. Ongoing and future projects at Riverwood House include building a strong navigator team. Maximize the My Recovery Plan tool by discovering and building our library of community resources. Develop a comprehensive volunteer program. Develop peer mentors and leaders within Riverwood House. Reach full capacity by the end of Q2 of 2023. Develop community employment programs. Continue to work with Justice on referrals. Develop a stronger advocacy voice with child and family services. Start a community Alcoholics Anonymous group. Restart Finding Freedom. Strengthen relationships with our referring agencies. Seek agencies with female and other gender clients. Develop a family education and support group. Continue to firm up our funding base for operations. And continue to advocate for easier navigation of recovery services in Winnipeg and Manitoba. We've appreciated the opportunity to give everyone a little more insight into Riverwood House and what we're doing. And this time you can see the contact information below. Feel free to give us a call at any time. And we are now ready to field some questions if anyone has them. Thank you very much.